Hello, everyone. Welcome to another Decisions Lunch and Learn. I'm going to be your host for today, tomorrow, and the day after that. It's Gregory Goldson from the training team. On our top right side, we have a link, or rather a QR code, to our Decisions Support YouTube channel. This is where you can go to get tutorials on how certain parts of the product work, such as the Apache Kafka module, or maybe all the Excel steps. Maybe you want to understand how a concept is implemented to decisions as well. Highly recommend taking a look there. You're going to find a lot of information that will be quite useful, most likely, for what you are looking to do in your environment. Below that, we have the Decisions Solutions Marketplace. This is going to have pre-built projects that you can import into your environment, test around, understand how they work, try to copy their implementation for your own, or just straight up take parts from it to use in your own. Either way, it's a great resource to figure out how particular projects might look, or if you're trying to build one yourself, see how to do it. And then we have our product roadmap review back. You can sign up for that at decisions.com/events. This lets you get a sneak peek at some of the stuff that's coming down the pipeline inside of the newest Decisions versions. So with all that being said, I'm going to switch over to my decisions screen now. If you all just give me a moment, and you can start posting your questions in the Q&A. And this is going to take me a little bit longer than a moment, but we'll make this work. Oh, that didn't work. Lovely. Let's try this. Oh, and for some reason that did. All right, give me just a moment. You'll be able to see my screen here soon. Okay. And decisions. All right. Let's see. We already have something in the Q&A here. Um, oh, hi, Patty. Hey, did you have a question for us? Here, let me let you talk real quick, all right? There you go. Here, I'll get over to our designer canvas while you're working on your question there. And if you need some time to type out that question about advanced data grids, let me, Patty, I'll come back while you type out your question, okay? All right. What's your question about advanced data grids?
Hey, so I'm reading in the documentation that if you have a Boolean value on an advanced data grid, it's supposed to appear as a checkbox. That's not the experience that I'm seeing when I
If you have
created
a
one. It's
Boolean
coming
field.
up as a true false. And then if you make it editable and you click on it, then it becomes a checkbox. But the column itself does not appear as a checkbox. And that's
Interesting. So only
clearly
when
what
you
the
try to
documentation
enable
is.
edit.
Right.
Okay, let's test this out.
I'm on version 12 too. I don't know if that makes a difference, like if something switched around or I don't know.
We will find out actually. So let's see here. We'll do our good old account fetch. Let me move this over to the left here. And then we'll create a form. And then, all right, let's show some Boolean fields. Let's get a mix here. Email address. Let's go with, where is it? Can use portal. Is active, is confirmed. And that should be, where's the create on? I like having a date on there too, just in case we need to test some other functionality here. All right. Save that. Now let's run it real quick. Oh, well, I should probably map the data, shouldn't I? Okay, now let's try this. Okay.
That's a work experience right there. And it says when you do that, it automatic in the documentation, the way I'm reading it, it says that it automatically converts Boolean values to a checkbox.
Interesting. Yeah, I'm on an unreleased build right now actually. So this is about as new as it gets. Yeah, that's a problem. I know exactly the person to update about that. Let me try the edit mode. Let me check a few other different modes on this.
Yeah, I did the edit mode and it does work. If you select it, it'll change it to a checkbox in edit mode,
In edit mode. Okay. And
but
then
it will not display as a checkbox for still.
hmm, let me try this real quick. Let's see how this works. We'll see. I'm
You got
not
to go on the
doing that.
grid. You got to go on the grid properties of the form and make it editable too.
Oh, right. Grid view. That's it right here.
No, it's on the field itself. So if you click on is confirmed,
Can't
it's
edit.
yeah, can edit and that
Can't edit.
that
Okay.
should do it.
Let me check if there's anything else in here. High confidence, source sorting down. Text display options, no wrap.
Yeah, I looked through that too. I didn't see anything there, but it's possible I missed something.
No, I'm not seeing anything. Sometimes you get formatting for decimals and stuff, and I was curious if they had
Hmm
one for a Boolean, but I'm not seeing
hmm
anything like that. Okay, let's try this. We'll try it with inline edit, and then we'll try it without inline edit and see what happens. So,
See, it'll do
okay,
that, but then when you click off it, it just turns it back to a
yeah,
verbiage.
that's crazy. Hold on, yeah. Let me try info only, but still have the can edit selected. Don't think this will work. I just want to see. Yeah, I didn't think so. Okay. Yeah, that's just not true. Thank you for catching that. And
Yeah, because we like I'm loving what you guys are doing with those data grids, but we definitely would want to use it for like a checkbox situation, like if they got a task and we just wanted to check it off. It just looks kind of kludgy to have the verbiage there.
right, right. Absolutely. No, I get exactly what you're saying. It's just cleaner for the user experience. It looks there's the knowledge beforehand that they can change it, right? If it's a
Sure,
checkbox. Yeah.
sure. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. I will reach out to actually my first question. Have you submitted a doc ticket for this already?
I have not. I wanted to come here first and make sure that I was not doing something wrong, you know.
Okay, no, I don't see anything. I'll check the documentation over after this lunch and learn and make sure I'm not missing anything, but I think yeah, you just caught something here that needs to be addressed.
Okay. So do you want me to put in a ticket in, or are you guys gonna put
I'll
an
do it.
internal ticket? Okay.
Yeah, I'll put it in because I can also ping the person directly who I know would get it. And
Okay.
yeah. I mean,
Sounds
you're
good.
free to, I mean, if you want to put one in, I'm not
No,
trying to
that's fine.
stop you
If you're
from putting
doing it
one in.
out,
I'm
that's
just saying
fine.
I'll do it
Yeah.
for you.
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah.
Okay, cool, cool, cool. Oh, you'll submit one. Thank you, Jasmine. I appreciate it. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, can you submit a doc ticket for that? And I guess just to confirm that it is indeed just something wrong with the documentation on it, or maybe it's for an older version. Okay, cool, cool, cool. Thank you. Did you have any other questions on this before I go over to?
No, go ahead. No, that's fine.
Okay, okay. Um, data structure in the project. All right, Patty, you were next.
Yes.
Yeah,
Hi, Craig. How are you?
I'm doing all right. So
What version you are using? I see different
I'm on an
icons,
I'm on
colors.
an unreleased build. This version has not come
Oh,
out yet, but
okay.
you can upgrade to version 9.12 and you'll still have this grid in the background.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, this
Okay.
isn't
I'm
new to
just
the version I'm
curious.
on. Yeah.
Okay, I'm just curious. Yeah. I like to, the data structure, defined data structure under each project. We have kind of a folder. And then also in the form, if I create a form along with the editing of the data structure, I also have one there. So my question for you is, if I have a form and in the form, I also have data structure created, do I still need to have data structure in the project? At the very bottom, there is a folder. Do I also need to create over there?
What do you mean by a data structure in the form? So let me back up
Uh,
here. So I've got
yeah,
this right here.
yeah.
What, so you're talking about you created a form.
Is no, hold on. Is this or I can share my screen?
I'm
Is
not able to do that on Lunch and
oh
Learn.
oh
Yeah, can't share
is
customer projects publicly like
oh
that.
okay.
Yeah.
Is this a project? Can you expand your project? Is this a project? Where is your
You
form,
have
flows,
scaffolding.
everything?
You're saying you have different folders, flows, forms, rules, data
Right,
structures.
right. In the design, yeah,
Okay. Yeah,
yeah,
yeah. So, all right.
design, yeah.
All right. So that scaffolding in kind of middling versions of 9. I mean, I don't mean middling as in bad, but I mean like kind of
Mm-hmm,
post-release a little bit.
mm-hmm,
Um that scaffolding comes pre-defined when you create a project, all right? And all
mm-hmm,
that
mm-hmm.
is a set of folders with names to them. It's just to help you stay organized. There's no logical distinction as far as making something in the flows folder versus the forms folder. It's all in the
Oh, I
project, right?
see.
All that
I
changes is
see.
which folder it's located under. It's all under the same project. So if you
Mm-hmm,
have a data structure under your forms, it is
mm-hmm.
in the project.
Oh, okay. 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 I don't need to do it again under the data structure folder, right?
No, no. The
Okay.
only way, unless you need two different data structures, but if you're talking
Mhm.
about the same data structure twice, no, no.
No,
You
I'm
just,
talking about the same. Yeah. Yeah.
yeah. You just need one in the project. Yeah. If you need it in a different
Mm.
project, you'll need to create it in a different project, right? That's
Mm-hmm.
set at different projects data structure.
Okay.
But yeah,
Okay.
in version 9, yeah, where everything is code compiled
Mm-hmm.
at the project level, you only have to worry about creating that in the project. Now,
Mm-hmm.
you can move it to another one if you want to keep it more organized, but that's
Mm-hmm.
not required. That's up to you and how you're designing.
Okay. Okay. Got it. I also have a project right now. I have a table, have a database loaded into the decision table. However, I have a couple of flows and active form flow associate with the data. But what I found initially, one of the ID I set as string, and now I need it as integer. So my question for you is it possible to change the current one to integer, or I have to create a brand new ID and change everything associated with that ID?
Okay, that is a good question. First of all, you can technically change it. Decisions won't stop you.
Mm-hmm,
However,
mm-hmm,
that can cause problems because you'll have your data that's been saved previously as a string type stacked in the same table with new
mm-hmm,
information trying to be put in as an integer type. The
mm-hmm,
safest ways to do it, like you're talking
mm-hmm,
about, are one, to completely wipe the table. so that there are
Mhm.
no records that get affected by it. You change the data structure, and then you're basically starting from scratch. Or, like you also mentioned, create a new data structure.
You mean wipe the table, the one that I already loaded into the database? I can clear all the records
You can,
and
yes.
change the data structure of that particular field, and then reload the data,
You
right?
can't reload the data. You have to recreate the data because the data got loaded in there under string, right? And then you're trying to convert it to an integer. You'll have to make that conversion. It's not hard. You can make a conversion and a flow for that. But I have a question on this though. So you're
Mhm.
talking about changing an ID. Is this the
Mhm.
primary key of the table?
It's not a system primary key. The system generates its own ID.
Hmm.
I also have a location ID, which initially was equal to the system ID started with 1. And then the location ID, I do need to later on find the max, the latest one plus one as a new ID to fill into the form.
So that's why you're trying to change it to integer
Right.
is because, well, hold on. Well, let me show you something real quick.
Yeah.
Now, again, this is going to vary on your project, so I can't guarantee
Mm-hmm.
this is the solution, but this is one way
Okay.
to avoid clearing that table. So
Okay.
let's say I've got ID location, all right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And it'll be a string. I'm going to make it a string,
Mm-hmm.
right? And
Mm-hmm.
our goal is to output an integer, right?
Mm-hmm.
All right. Drag that in here. I'm
Mm-hmm.
going to click on add real quick. Value 1 is going to be 1. We're increasing the ID by 1. Value 2, we're going to run a converter. We're going to convert string to int 32. Select from here, flow data, pick our ID location, and now we'll debug. So if I have 278, this is a string, right? This is a string I'm
Mm-hmm.
putting in.
Mm-hmm.
I put that in, it gets added,
Mm-hmm.
279, because it was just a string that could be converted to an integer. We
Mm-hmm.
still get that out of it. And then we can output that at the end. Or
Mm-hmm.
if you need to save it to the database as a string still, I mean, you can do that. You can directly put that. You don't need a converter to map an integer to a string in decisions.
Sorry, can you repeat the database you're talking about? If I don't use the flow to convert here in the database, what did you said?
This isn't in the database. This is
Mm-hmm.
um this is a way for
Mm-hmm.
you to add a number to a
Mm-hmm.
string as long as your
Mm-hmm.
strings have been numbers, right? Like they don't
Yeah,
contain
yeah.
any other characters
Mm-hmm.
besides just digits, right?
Mm-hmm.
Then you can do this, and then you can
Mm-hmm.
do I don't know what you're doing if you're doing insert entities, save entities. You may be using a unique one. I have no idea.
Mm-hmm.
But whatever you're
Mm-hmm.
using to save that information to the database, you can then pass
Mm-hmm.
that in right here. It's still a string in the database, but it incremented by 1.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Okay.
Now, I cannot make a full recommendation on which route you should go because I do not know your project fully.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess the only reason I bring this up is because a changing of a database type is kind of something that needs some consideration behind it because that affects, right, how you're moving forward with that data structure and then what happens if it needs to be done again. So that it's usually not often that you want to change the database type, but again,
Mm-hmm.
that can vary by whatever your circumstances are. So at least want to
Mm-hmm.
show this alternative.
Okay, okay. Can you go back to the add one step? I want to see the input output. So
Absolutely.
so your input is a constant value,
Right.
and your output is
It's
what's
still a
the function?
decimal. It's still a decimal.
Yeah, but what's the
This one
it's
right
a
here.
it's a
It's a
converter.
converter. I
Oh,
selected converters. Yeah.
Oh,
So these are
okay.
system default converters in
Uh-huh.
decisions. When you're trying to
Okay.
pass in a string to a decimal, a string to an integer, that's
Mm-hmm.
normally one of the options you can select. And if you know that string is only going to contain numeric characters, then you can do
Mm-hmm.
this.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And
Okay.
then when you do that, it gives you the extra input for that string down here to plug into that converter.
Okay. Okay. All right. Okay. Yeah, I might need to change from the database just to have a clean start because I have, further more tables, forms down the road. I like to have a clean one to start with. Yeah.
Okay. Then yeah, I
Okay.
wouldn't. If it's not business critical, I do think the best route for that is to clear what is inside of there first so you don't have mixed types in the same column in your database.
Right, right. Okay. Okay. Do you have anyone else here? Otherwise, I'll ask you another question.
I actually do have another question. I'll be glad to come back to you, but William has
Okay,
posted his in the
sure,
chat, so let me
sure,
address that.
sure. Yep, thank you.
All right, so William's question is, hello, could you please explain how named sessions can be used to control API access for flows that are exposed from specific folders in a decisions project? Thanks. Yes. Let me let you talk real quick. So let me actually, I'm going to use the same flow right here. So I'm going to configure this flow to be integrated from an API service. All right. And then, William, I don't know if you have element slugs yet in yours. This is kind of a newer feature.
Yep, we're on 9.11, so we do have this.
Perfect. All right. So you've got your, what is this going to be called? I'm going to call this my service. Okay. Advanced configure HTTP methods. This will be a post method. I'm going to put information in, and then we'll click view. Okay, so when you try to integrate with a flow or any desired entity and decisions for that matter, you're going to have this option over here to allow you to see the different ways that you can integrate with that entity, one of which is a session ID. So how a session ID works is that you create a continuously lasting session, one which does not expire upon user logout, and you choose an account for which that particular session has that account's permissions. So what you can do is you can say, all right, I'm going to integrate with flows A, B, and C from this user session, and this account I'm going to give specific permissions to utilize flows A, B, and C. If someone else tries to integrate with the same named session in flow D, this account doesn't have permissions for flow D, so they can't run flow D. Here, let me create a named session for you so I can show you a little bit more than just talking about it. There we go. All right, so the way you create them is you go under here, the system settings, and then you go to security and then named sessions. I've got two in here already, but you'll see that they didn't show up in that other thing. That's because these are named sessions that are at the system level, all right? They apply to all projects. If you are looking for project-specific information, you go to Manage, Security, Permissions. Sorry, not permissions, name sessions. And then I'll click Add a name session here. I can specify the session name. I'm going to call this my auth session. This is my session that can authorize whatever I choose. And it's going to be for auth account. Let's say auth account at decisions.com. All right. I'll save that. And now, whatever flows I have in this project that I give auth account permission to run, that named session can be used to authenticate an API call to that flow, and it would run it as if it was the user auth account. Is that kind of addressing your question or not quite?
I think I think so. Yeah. Is there any chance, sorry, you could just go through that again for me? Just
Absolutely.
specifically for doing the project level named sessions.
Perfect. Yes.
Maybe I can give a little bit more context of what we're trying to do. So in my project, we're trying to separate out APIs into public and private folders, and we want a name session for our private users. I'll say that's probably not the best description for them, but we want the private users to be able to use all the APIs in the private folder and all the APIs in the public folder. And then we want a different name session to just allow users to use the APIs just in the public folder.
Hmm.
So I'm curious how we can get that working.
Perfect. Absolutely. Yes. All
Thanks.
right. So I'm going to create 2 folders here. All right. I would call this one private. Call this one public. And when you're talking about public, are you talking about this public folder here?
No,
You
just
just
like a
mean in the
custom one,
designer.
yeah.
Okay. Okay. Cool. 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 All right. Just making sure we're on the same page here. Okay. Public and private folders. Private is going to have flow A. All right. So anyone in the private can run flow A, and public is going to have flow B. All right. Okay. So flow A, flow B. Now, I'm going to create 2 different name sessions in here. I'll create the private name session and the public name session. And I will create, where to go? Integration, do security, there we go. Okay, let me edit. I'm going to call this private. Okay, so auth account is private. And then I'll create another one. This will be public. And then the only user, this will be running as if a new account. This is as if new account is running this particular name session. All right. So whenever there are 2 reasons that these accounts are important. First of all, there is something called user context. All right. So whenever a flow is run, it has the context available of who initiated the flow and who is currently running the flow. All right. That can change based on different ways that you use asynchronous steps, but that data is captured automatically. In addition, having these separated by different accounts means I can apply different permissions. So if I want to go to private, I'm going to right click, I'm going to go to permissions, manage, and I want the account, auth account, to have the ability to open, use, and view anything in this folder. Okay? And then for public, I want auth account, right? I want auth account to be able to do anything in here too. Sorry, I keep having to drag the names down. It's blocking. And then we also, in this one, want new user, I believe was the other one. New account. That's it. New account. Okay. Now, the 2 named sessions that we created have the permissions to run the flows as the 2 accounts they are for. Private, right, is going to be for the auth account, and public is going to be for the new account. So, private, which is being run by auth account, can run both of these because the auth account has use permissions, view permissions, and open permissions on these folders and the flows inside of them. While public is the only place where new account can run flows from. Is that making a little bit more sense, or not quite?
Yes, yeah, that's making a lot of sense.
Yeah,
Thank you.
there are more ways to authenticate outside of just named sessions. You can add more security with JWT tokens and additional functionality. But if you're looking to separate it, like particularly with the named sessions, with permissions like you're talking about, this is how you do it. And then if you want to view all your integrations, I think you can do that right over here. Or is that public? It's public integration. Yeah, this is the only one we've made public to the users so far. So you can view that here. That's the expected input output of that. So if you want to see all your integrations you've got set up, you can navigate to here under public.
Okay, great. Thank you so much.
Of course. Any other clarity needed with that, or did that answer your question?
No, that answers my question. I do just want to ask, is there a recording of this just so I can go over those steps again? Do you
Yes.
upload it to YouTube or something?
We do upload it to YouTube. That decision support YouTube channel, I highlighted it at the beginning of this, but it'll be decision support. That's where we upload these, and this will, in all likelihood, be uploaded by the end of today.
Okay, fantastic. That's end of today in the US.
Yeah, 5 p.m.
Okay,
5 p.m.
all right.
Yeah,
Thank
I'll
you so
try to
much.
do it sooner. But yes, I'll definitely make sure that's at least done by the end of today.
Yeah, thank you.
Sure thing. Okay, let me make sure we don't have any more questions, and then Patty, I'll be glad to address any more that you have.
Okay.
Yeah, nothing else. All right. What was your other
All right.
question?
Great. My question is about audit history. So one of the well, it's not one of them. I need audit all the form data when it's changed in terms of the user date and time stamp and what's being changed. I know there's a history I can turn down called audit changes. So I did that. However, when I look at the audit history in the reports, it only gave me the high level of the audit to say, who made the change, but I do not see the details. If I want to audit a form or a data table behind the form that changed in details on the fields, I'm not every selected field. How can I do that? Am
Okay.
I able to configure the report, or I need to create my own report?
Okay. So let's talk a little bit about auditing real quick.
Mm-hmm.
The way to do that is you enable auditing, and then you're specifying what you're auditing, right? Enabling it is not simply enough. There is a lot of different options in here that you can choose to audit. Now, you're talking about changes to a form. Are you talking about user inputs to a form, or are you talking about a user altering the form
No,
itself?
user input. I'm talking about the data input. Yeah.
Okay, so someone inputs data into a form and you want to
Mm-hmm.
capture what data is input into that form, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Okay, so let's talk a little bit about that. Where is, yeah, flow execution.
First of all, sorry to cut you off. This edit default audit setting is under settings.
Yeah, you go to
Uh,
settings, auditing settings.
yeah, I think that's what I went. Yeah, it looks different. Anyway, I only have audit changes. Yeah,
Audit.
I only have. Yeah, I think I've seen this. Okay. Okay. Continue. Yeah.
Yep. So you
Under
pick
the
the
settings.
categories you're
Yeah.
going to edit here. Now, I should mention something. So when a
Yeah.
user is putting in information inside of a
Uh,
form, that information is, unless you configured an active form flow or something, that information isn't actually stored anywhere. So it's not tracking any changes to the data because no changes have really occurred to the data, right?
mhm, mhm.
Yeah. Now, the moment you save something, the
Uh,
moment that someone inputs a particular change and that gets recorded to the database, auditing can capture that. It can
okay.
absolutely capture updates to the database by
Mhm,
which user at what time.
mhm, mhm,
Yeah. So let me go into this flow here real quick. For example,
mhm,
let's do our show form from earlier. All right,
mhm,
I'll just pick
mhm.
the one that we had before.
Sure.
All right, and I'll move this over to the left. Okay, let's debug this. All right. Oh, I didn't fetch accounts. Whoops. Let me do that. There we go. All right, now let's do this. Okay. So right now, if I were to change any one of these fields
Mm-hmm.
and I didn't hit done,
Mm-hmm.
I couldn't audit this. Nothing has been updated yet. Nothing has
Yeah.
changed in that structure. We have fetched entities, right? They are in the
Mm-hmm.
flow down here, and then we
Right.
move them over here. We haven't saved
Mm-hmm.
them anywhere yet.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I can check if auditing can look for user interactions with a flow, I mean a form.
Mm-hmm.
But if you're not going to capture any sort of database alterations here. Like
Mm-hmm.
you're just not going to because you're not even touching the database here.
Mm-hmm.
This step touches the database. This
Mm-hmm.
fetch, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So now if you were to make edits, you make your inline edits and then you save them, right?
Mm-hmm.
Then you could be able to run audit on that because that altered something in the database. That
Mm-hmm.
changed what used to be there.
Mm-hmm. Understand.
Yeah. Now, there are some areas that, and this is, you might have seen this already before. Auditing does not just include updates to the database. It's not the only thing auditing can do.
Mm-hmm.
You'll see these activity auditing. So these
Mm-hmm.
are whenever a user logs in, when
Mm-hmm.
user sessions, what they're doing in their session while they're logged in. You
Mm-hmm.
can have report executions. Anytime a user runs a report, we capture that. And then
Mm-hmm.
for this enable auditing, right, for the data auditing, for any updates here, this is where you're going to want to look for your particular setup. Did my screen freeze for anyone else?
No, I don't see. Well,
You're
right
good for
now,
me.
probably, yeah,
Okay, give me just a moment, everyone.
sure.
All right, we're good. All right, up and running. Oh, okay. Yeah, I will be honest, I'm not 100% sure where that line in with auditing is, where as far as what it can and cannot capture fully. And I
Mm-hmm.
can look into that for you and let you know as far as trying to capture user input data.
Uh-huh.
But
Yeah, yeah, if you can provide me some documentations in details, but eventually what I need to do is not only audit the data structure I created, also the system flow, the information from system flow in terms of user time stamp, that type of I'm not sure if I can use directly the report or configure, or I need to create my own audit report. That's my,
I'm
yeah,
pretty sure auditing can capture that information as
can,
far as
right?
how
Okay.
users run. I'm pretty sure it can.
Okay.
Because that's not data auditing, that's activity auditing, right?
Right, right.
So, I'm not 100% sure which category that falls under. I would think most
Mm-hmm.
likely sessions, but
Mm,
I'm not 100% sure, and I can look
right.
into that and get back to you on that.
Right, right. See, I'm not interested to who log in or log settings, I'm
Right.
interested in who made the change and when and, and what's changed.
hmm
So it got to be on the database level. Yeah.
hmm
Okay.
Absolutely.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Thank you very much.
Yeah, it doesn't sound like what you're trying to do. Like, it sounds like what you're trying to do can be done. I'm not 100% sure how to do it. I'll look into it
Okay.
and I'll let you know what I find.
All right. Thanks a lot.
Sure thing.
Okay. Have a good one. Bye-bye.
Bye, Patty. Okay. Well, that is um all of our questions currently. All of those have been answered so far. Um, this is actually version, what is it? Yeah, we're on 9.13 right now. We're on a build of 9.13. So things look a little bit different here. The grid is still going to be the same, but you'll notice on the debugger here, they've changed the way that this executes. And okay, there was a change that they were going to implement. Let me see. I'm gonna see if they have it in this unstable build yet or not. Give me a moment. Just while I'm waiting on more questions. So this is a random rule, true or false. Give me a for loop. Let's see if they did this. So I'm going to run this 100 times. This is a random rule. It outputs true or false at random. This does exist in decisions. This is not a custom rule. Maybe there's a use case for it in your business build, but honestly, I think it's just kind of fun. But anyway, I'm going to say 50% true on this, and I'm going to run this constant 2. Let's go 100 times. All right, and now when I debug this, when I click on this rule run, oh, I'm in sampling mode. That's why. Hold on. When I hit debug, and is it at 100? Yeah, it can't go over 100. That's what I thought. Okay. Hmm. They may not have implemented it yet. Or maybe just 100 is too high of a number. Let me try one more thing and see. See if they did this yet. Let's run this 10 times. Debug. Actually, we're not going to run this in sampling mode at all. Yeah, that's what I thought. You can see each individual execution, whether it resulted in true or false. It tells you exactly what path it went down without having to go inside of the rule first to see that. You can see that on the left panel here on your debugger. This may not be the final way it's implemented yet. Again, this is not the final product, but that is something that is quite interesting. Okay. Um, I'm gonna give it. Actually, we haven't had anyone new join. And honestly, we only got 15 minutes left, so I think that I'm going to call it a day. After all, I'll be here the next 2 days anyway to answer any questions that may have come up after that. All right. With that being said, thank you all very much for watching. Hope you all have a wonderful rest of your day.